Hey, it's the Red Wizard. I wanted to share with you guys how I created the Natural History Redux poster for Coral Morphologic. Now, this process I'm going to show you I've never done before. I was pretty excited about it. This collage took me longer than any collage I've ever made. So hopefully by me sharing with you a couple secrets, it will help you in your own creative endeavors or if you're ever working with a client. Let's do it. This project was to make a poster for my friends at Coral Morphologic. Coral Morphologic are a hybrid science and art project. They literally photograph and videotape super zoomed in, super vibrant, super neon videos of invertebrates in South Florida, in Miami. Now, I met Colin and Jared of Coral Morphologic when I was in grad school back in, probably 2009. So what they wanted me to do was to take a bunch of their images from this video, which is called Natural History Redux. Definitely check it out. I'm putting the link in the description. I don't plug anyone else on this channel. You got to check out their work, okay? So they wanted to take a bunch of images from this, and they wanted me to create collages, create a big collage, a poster, in fact. Here's the poster. We're going to look at it closely in a second, okay? So, guys, Coral Morphologic does really high-quality stuff. I wanted to do really good things for them. I wanted them to be impressed with the work, so I took it really seriously, and I knew the first thing I had to do to make sure that Red Wizard and Coral Morphologic were on the same page is I wanted to make sketches. Now, the importance of a sketch, the utility of a sketch is that you purposefully do not spend a lot of time on it. Get out of your headspace, get out of the minutia, and just try a whole bunch of ideas. And that's what I did, because I didn't exactly know what they wanted. I didn't exactly know what I wanted to do for them. So I came up with a whole bunch of different collages. Because now the way I printed these was I just printed them on my regular printer at home on decent paper, but nothing crazy. So my cost was super low. And I literally just tried lots of different things. So this one has like a bunch of the soft corals that they actually grow in a lab. These dudes are crazy. They grow these things. This is a decorator crab that's decorated himself with the soft corals. We have eyes from oysters and man-o-war tentacles. So needless to say, these guys make some super awesome looking stuff. So I guess one of the things that I learned from this project was, hey, if your client has a whole bunch of awesome images, whether it's family photos or corporate photographs or old advertisements, ask them for them and you'll have a whole library of stuff that you could work with. Now, the Coral Morphologic dudes wanted to showcase as many of the organisms, like the crabs and the other invertebrates, and as many of these pixelated transitional backgrounds that they created. So I knew in my concept I would have to fit as many in there as I possibly could. Another thing that was important for this process was knowing the aspect ratio, knowing the size ratio of the final product. The final product was a large poster. When I'm making sketches, I don't want to make them big because that will take more time and more materials. That defeats the purpose of doing something quickly and cheaply, right? So I kind of just did a little algebra and I figured out how I could make smaller 3x4s. I can't remember exactly what the ratio was. And then they also wanted me to test with some 1x1s. So that would be square, right? Now, so I shared these concepts in one big email, and they were like, hey, we really want to see one of these organisms that you haven't used yet, and it was called the Aero Crab. So then basically the second draft of these sketches all featured the Aero Crab. So let's take a look at those. The Aero Crab is this dude right here. So he's got a whole bunch of legs. I thought, all right, well, I think I should create some foreground and background and have him kind of crawling on a bunch of these things. Now, part of what I did with these quick cuts is you'll notice I actually did cut them quickly. I didn't get all hung up on cutting them out very carefully, and I actually ended up using scraps from other images just to fill in some like negative space and stuff like that. Again, just cutting down on the time was huge. So we have a whole bunch of concepts with the Aero Crab, trying different textures, different layers, paying close attention to contrast, making sure that the Aero Crab, didn't get lost. Pretty wild. So after that, Coral Morphologic got back to me. They're like, hey, let's find a way to fit even more images. And so we decided to bring the Aero Crab up to the front. I believe this was like the second last draft. Bring the Aero Crab up to the front and then do this stained glass effect in between the legs. And then I thought, you know what? I'd rather cut around the images and not just make these like circular rays. So here, this became the final, kind of like the final rough draft. So we went from just knowing that in the collaboration we wanted to share a bunch of images, and this is what we went with. So that's really the main thing. The whole idea of sketching with collages using my cheap printer was huge. Then I went out and I purchased higher quality prints. That way I didn't have to print, 50 images I didn't even know I was going to use. I basically used this as like an inventory. I knew exactly what I needed when I went and had to, drop some bucks on the high quality print. And this was the final print. No, this is the final original. This was then photographed, in a very high resolution and created prints for Coral Morphologic. So Coral Morphologic is selling prints for these for their new album that just came out. One of the collaborators on the album is actually one of the dudes from Animal Collective, Manowar, which is sick. Now, I learned a lot doing these sketches. I learned a lot working with this super awesome client. And one beautiful thing that happened was when it came time to make the second image that they wanted, which was basically a different size ratio image for their background of the YouTube video we just saw, the thumbnail. When it came time to do this, I already saw this happening in these relationships already. So when it came time to do this second image, I was just like, boom, this only took a few minutes and it looks totally awesome. So yeah, that's the first time I did sketches with collages. It's totally possible. And if you guys are interested in posters, check out the Coral Morphologic website. Definitely give them some support, guys, because COVID-19 things are tough. These guys do awesome work. They're actively protecting the coral reefs and aquatic fish and coral habitat in South Florida, and they're literally telling the world and expanding our consciousness with this awesome art at the same time. You don't see people mix art and science together a lot in such an awesome way. So yeah, definitely check out Coral Morphologic. And that about does it. Happy New Year, guys. Thank you so much for watching. And let me know any other videos you'd like to see me make in the comments. Peace.